Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto content. Today, we are going to be talking about Bitcoin and also HBAR overall. We are going to be addressing what's been happening, as well as kind of talking about some support and also resistance zones regarding both of these assets. Because even when we talk about, for an example, HBAR, a lot of people do get concerned with the price action, how it's not moving, whatever the case may be. Again, it's the idea of we need market stability. Without market stability, HBAR is not going to go anywhere. I'm going to be just completely upfront with you guys. I'm not saying that's going to go to the moon tomorrow, next week, whatever. It's the idea of we need market stability, and this goes for any asset in the space. When we look at HBAR, it needs to go above and beyond to reach that, pretty much 27-cent zone before we actually see any real price action. When we talk about an HBAR pump, I'm talking about 50 cents plus. I want to see 50 cent plus for HBAR because that will tell us, hey, we're seeing, some great price action. We could go to all-time high plus into price action or in a price discovery, and that's where we will see some major price action happening. Now, when we look at HBAR, it did break down below that 18.5 cent support zone. It broke 18 cents overall. It sucks to see, we were kind of in a little bit of a choppiness area. And I told you guys, with any sort of chop zone for any asset, it could be the best asset in the space, which, even when we talk about HBAR being as great as it is, once you're in a chopping zone and Bitcoin kind of does whatever it wants to do, drops, goes high, whatever, pretty much it's all under Bitcoin's control. So with Bitcoin dropping, obviously we're prone to see a drop on HBAR. Nothing is safe when Bitcoin drops. That's why, whenever we see people say, well, HBAR is going to survive the bear market, it's not. Most assets will not either. So it's just the game that we're playing right now. So until we see market stability, HBAR is not going to pump. Just be patient with it. I'm telling you guys, patience wins in this game. Who's ever selling at a loss right now, it just doesn't make sense, in my opinion. Now, when we look at the market right now, even when we look at HBAR, we did almost bounce off of the 16-cent support. We kind of retested a little bit of a low from back here on June 23rd. We pretty much bounced off of that. Currently, right now, trading at about 17.3 cents. Nothing too strong, nothing too stable. We're still looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the big player right now. That's where a lot of the attention is because we don't know what's going to exactly happen with Bitcoin. If we actually come over to Bitcoin and look at it, now we do see that the RSI is a little bit, it doesn't look oversold on the daily, right? But when we go over to the weekly, we could tell that the RSI is extremely oversold. Look at this bottoming out here. Now this is of course on Binance. If we actually come over to Coinbase, 1 second, we could actually really see it. So this is pretty much an oversold RSI, which means, listen, we could see something where we pretty much have this increased zone where we kind of start pumping up and increasing the volume. Now it's telling us that Bitcoin right now is extremely oversold. I agree. I think Bitcoin is extremely oversold, and a lot of people are even claiming that this is all kind of manipulation to keep the price lower for accumulation. I wouldn't be too surprised by that at all. We've seen it in the past. Now, when we talk about any sort of thing with Bitcoin, we also have to kind of analyze Bitcoin dominance because Bitcoin dominance is very important as well. Even in past, bull cycles, we have seen Bitcoin dominance kind of range a little bit higher, retest highs, come back down as well. Now, whenever we see something come up to this red X up here, yeah, sure, it's a little bit bearish for all alts. That is also a good buy zone. We don't want to buy when, dominance is kind of going all the way down. That's when you want to hold, obviously. But the good thing about dominance rising with Bitcoin kind of, staying stable a little bit, if you will, and I wouldn't even call it stable. It's kind of walking a tightrope, if you will, where it could fall or it could kind of climb. When we look at dominance, it's really good to see dominance rising at that time because once Bitcoin does drop, we get really stingy buys. That is where people are trying to get the most for their dollar. That's where you could pretty much get, for an example, 5, 6, 7, 8, HBAR for $1, which is a steal. So we really got to analyze Bitcoin dominance as well as it's gaining some speed and momentum. We could actually kind of tell that right now This is most likely a good support zone to really see. So 44.5 pretty much is a good support zone if we could break that. We actually even see that back here on June 13th and June 12th. It is actually kind of a bit of a support and resistance zone. So if we do break that, it wouldn't be too complex to actually see it bounce off of that and get rejected at that resistance zone. Now we do see my other X here. This is pretty much where we see us break down before pre-pump zones on Bitcoin dominance. So we really got to see if this could be broken down here once this is broken, unless we kind of bounce off of it like we did back here before eventually breaking down below it and retesting that low of 41%. Now with Bitcoin ranging and doing its kind of thing at about 30K, the only thing that concerns me is that today is Thursday. We're marching into Friday. Sorry about that. We are marching into Friday, so we could see sort of the same thing that kind of plays out on most weekends. I'm not saying all weekends here, because we did just see a very stable weekend that marched into a very bad Monday. And when we look at that, you know, we could see Bitcoin kind of retest a low. My personal point of a low target would be that 28.8K zone again. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. I know a lot of people are kind of fearful when I ever say 28.8K for Bitcoin. But listen, when we look at that, we also get that buy opportunity for HBAR, where I was talking about it's a degenerative buy at 15 cents. I'm only putting in about $300 and getting 2,000 HBAR. I might put in more, of course. It all depends. Now, for me personally, that is a gamble. It doesn't need to happen. It's not guaranteed to happen. We still have to break a lot of key support zones. For an example, 31K, 30K, and then eventually we will retest 28.8K, which is a double bottom. Now, me personally, we did just bounce off of solid support. If we actually come over to the Binance chart, I actually drew a support zone line on 32.2K. This is actually an old line too. You guys could go look at my older videos when I talk about charts. This line actually had a pretty good strong support zone where we kind of retested it even back in June 24th. That's pretty much a good solid support zone even from back here on June 27th as well. Now we did break down a little bit below it today essentially. Now we broke down below it here, we retested it here and kind of bounced off of that support zone. Nothing too crazy personally. We're still in a choppy zone. And again, when we look at the choppy zone, even on, you know, a Hedera Hashgraph, we did see that we eventually broke that chop zone and we even broke out of it or broke below it. In our case, we broke below it. Again, we kind of have to watch that for Binance, or not for Binance, Bitcoin. But we got to watch this weekend, because this weekend will essentially tell us what's going to happen with all alts. Now, for me personally, what I would like to see by the weekend, and I know this is going to sound terrible, and a lot of people are going to say that they don't want to see this happen because they want to see green. For me personally, it's kind of the idea of, you know, I'm not too mad if this happens. So what would I like to see personally? I would like to see us retest this 48% zone on Bitcoin dominance. We could even kind of just bounce off of this zone here and retest this zone from back in June 23rd. That would be about 48%. We would essentially retest that. Again, retest 28.8K on Bitcoin. This would bring most altcoins down very low. HBAR could possibly retest about 12 to even 14%. It could actually bottom out. If we look at HBAR right now, essentially what would happen with that bid is we would retest this bottom here, which is about at that 13.5 cent zone. That would be a perfect buy opportunity if it did happen this weekend. Now, of course, I do have fiat on the side. I told you guys on Twitter I have fiat on the side in case something like this happens. Weekends are always volatile. They're always volatile, no matter what. I mean, it usually always is. Again, what happened this weekend, it did stay stable for the most part. A lot of people were expecting a pump up on, which was the 5th. Let me see where that is. So this was the 5th. This is Sunday, right? Sunday pretty much ranged high. It broke out a little bit. We almost retested 36K. A lot of people were happy. They were getting ecstatic. They thought, hey, it's the first green weekend that we've had in a very long time. Could this be the beginning of what's to come? And then again, Monday decided to say, hey, listen, you guys are still in consolidation. This is what's going to happen. And we pretty much ranged lower. Now, I'm not going to say that price action looks great or the price action looks bad. I'm just saying if we look at the RSI, it is oversold on the weekly. I'm not too concerned on Bitcoin's price action right now, because we do know that right now a lot of this price action that is ensuing is most likely manipulation by bears. Again, until bulls really kind of step in and win, we will not see any good price action on HBAR. So everything kind of revolves around Bitcoin right now. It's no big deal. It's not a big thing. A lot of people still realize that Bitcoin is the big player here. It still is. It will be until Ethereum pretty much outperforms it and pretty much regains dominance over it, and dominance on Bitcoin falls. Until then, I'm not saying that HBAR won't move. I mean, it will move sense, but it's not going to do an extreme pump up. So we really got to watch for Bitcoin this weekend. All eyes are on Bitcoin's targets. Personally, if you guys want to write them down, some targets to hold for Bitcoin are, for an example, 31K, 30K, 28.8K. If we're talking about going upward, we got to watch for 33.5K being regained, 34K, 34.8K, and then after that it's where we pretty much retest about 35.5K or 36.3K overall. So those are the targets to look for. It sucks not knowing what's going to happen, because nobody really knows what's going to happen right now in this market. Me personally, I'm expecting a little bit of a downward pressure, especially ranging into the weekend. That's just me personally. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. If you guys did enjoy this video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys can follow me on Twitter at NCashOfficial. You guys could also join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out.